Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new spoiler review. And today, 1 week after the very big release of Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, I will be doing my spoiler review of the movie. I'm going to go full spoilers, breaking down the film now. Obviously, because it's 4 hours, I'm not going to go scene by scene. Just break down the big plot points of the entire film. Do I think we should restore the Snyderverse? All this type of stuff. Before I get into my review, if you have not seen in full 4-hour form Zack Snyder's Justice League, I've already done my non-spoiler review of the movie, so I'll put that as a link right next to my head at the end of the video. So please click on that. Check that one out. Also, if you've already watched the movie, check out that one first, then check out this, because my overall thoughts is really in that review. I'm just breaking down what I liked and didn't like about the plot points of the film. Please like this video. It's the best way to support this channel. Let's get to 100 subscribers as well by subscribing and ringing that bell for notifications. And now let's get into the review. So, as I said in my non-spoiler review, if you didn't watch it, I give it a good score, like around an 85%. I really enjoyed the film. I really liked it. I did have issues with the film, but overall, one of the more enjoyable DCEU films for me. And I also just did my ranking of the DCEU, so also please check out that video as well. So let's get on to the main plot points and really these characters. So my main positive with the film was one of the characters, which is Batman. Even though this is not my top tier Batman, I really am not a Ben Affleck fan. I thought the way they handled him in the theatrical cut was really did not feel like the same universe as Batman v Superman. It was a totally different performance. It was a totally different character. And the motivation, it just felt very off. Him and Diana having fights all the time in the league just made the film quite distracting. And the character itself, you just didn't take seriously in the big moments of the films. Now, even though I didn't take him seriously in BVS, because how could he actually fight Superman? That's one of my main issues with that film. And I'm not really a huge fan of BVS. For me, this was the best iteration that Affleck has done with the character yet. I think that the idea of him failing to put this Justice League together in the first, hour and a half of this cut in, he was doubting himself the entire time. He kept telling Alfred, Aquaman said, no, it's just really me and Diana and Flash, and Cyborg is not accepting. Aquaman didn't accept. Superman is dead. And the loss of faith. Faith is a big thing for him in this movie. The idea of gaining faith at the end that he knows Superman will show up for the end battle. A lot of that stuff was great. Wonder Woman also does a great job. And as I said in the original, there's a scene that gets extended from the theatrical cut, which is in this movie, with the terrorist scene. And they cut like the best scene, maybe in the entire movie, that really tugged on my heartstrings a lot. Wonder Woman just destroys this terrorist in a really fun action scene, but then in the theatrical, it just cuts when she basically dominates the guy. We keep going, and she goes to talk to this little girl who says, can I be like you someday? And she says, you can be anyone who you want to be. And that really hit me hard. It was a really inspirational moment for little girls out there. Even me, a guy, a really inspirational scene that really hit well and really felt like Wonder Woman. Which was great to see. Now, the main improvement of this film over the other one is Cyborg, who, as I said in my non-spoiler review and my ranking of the film, the theatrical cut, I hated the character. I really passionately did not like Cyborg. He just felt like the tech guy who had to do tech things in the theatrical cut. And I wasn't on Twitter tweeting stuff like this. I was talking to people saying I really did not like Cyborg. And I really blame Ray Fisher, but at the time I was like, man, Ray Fisher was not very good in the movie, and the character was terrible. That's what I thought. Rewatched it, still thought the same. Like, Cyborg really sucks in the theatrical cut. And then you start to watch this movie, and he is the best part of this movie, which is hilarious. Theatrical cut, he was probably the worst part of the movie, in my opinion. And now going to the best part in Snyder's cut, he had a lot more depth. His whole mom storyline, his mom was cut out of the entire theatrical cut. And we see him playing football, which was really cool to see. A really fun Easter egg because, in BVS, there was a football game on and Gotham City was getting blown out. And that was because of what happened to Ray Fisher. Obviously, the accident and him becoming Cyborg did not, of course, allow him to play football anymore. We get to see with his mom. His dad does not show up to the football game. He seems very pissed off at his dad for most of the film. And then the mom, they both really die in that car crash. The mom is dead. And Victor Stone's dad, Silas Stone, comes and saves his life by using one of the mother boxes, which I thought was, again, a huge, really good aspect of the film. And the fact of his dynamic of him wanting to be seen, him opening up to the rest of the world. He has become a loner after being a real community star football player guy, to go from that to being a loner, people who he thinks he won't be accepted as himself, and all this type of stuff. And also Ray Fisher's performance is really excellent, and it really is a star-making performance for Ray Fisher that I thought was great. And it really added to a lot of the, and the ending of the movie with him tapping into the mother boxes, and the mother boxes making him think that he should reunite with his family, seeing a picture of, him as Ray Fisher, Victor Stone, and seeing his parents, and he moving past it, said, you know what, I'm not alone. I have friends now. I have people who can take care of me. And that really spoke to me, and really also hit me very emotionally towards the end of the movie. And he isn't just a tech guy. He does get into the action, but he has meaningful dialogue that works. You get why he's there. You get why Cyborg can do particular things, and it makes him the heart of the movie, truthfully, and definitely my favorite part of the movie. Aquaman is also in the movie. He has a scene with Willem Dafoe. So obviously this movie comes out, technically, obviously the first one supposed to come out is before the Aquaman movie, this timeline wise. So Willem Dafoe, we had no idea was even in Joss Whedon's cut of Justice League. And he has a couple scenes in the movie that also help you lead into Aquaman. I'm not talking about me right here, just talking about the main characters. Aquaman is fun in the movie. His opening, he's fun. His character, probably the most out of all these characters, did not change that much from Whedon's cut to this cut, which I don't have a problem with. The character is still fun to watch. Barry has a lot more going on in this movie, The Flash. Obviously, a lot of criticism about Ezra Miller choking a woman, and that's just being forgotten by everyone. I still want to resolve that issue, but just looking at the film as a whole, he is good in the movie. Now, his subplots for me did not feel as emotional for me as any of the other characters. He has a subplot. He also has some dad problems. Billy Crudup plays his dad, and he is in prison. And he's been in prison for a long time, and he's trying to get him out of prison by going into the criminal. And I felt like some of Ezra Miller's problems felt like problems from the rest of the Justice League. And we already had a bit of parent issues with Victor, so I felt like it was just quite repetitive with Barry and him saying, well, Dad, I'm really becoming a person again. It just didn't speak to me that much. But the character finally has some good humor. In the theatrical cut, his humor just felt like MCU humor, where just meaning that the film around it was dark, and they just made this character was just made to be comedy. Now there is comedy, but it feels very seamless in the movie. It feels very good comedy that fits into the story, and not just comedy that's supposed to just be in the scene. It feels very nice, very seamless, which I thought was a nice upgrade. Superman for me also was great. Now, the main thing that they changed from the first one is also that Superman dying and his scream of death awoke the mother boxes and alerted Steppenwolf to come to Earth, because there's no more really defense. There's no one defending Earth anymore because Superman is dead. And that whole opening scene was great because it establishes what the mother boxes are, Steppenwolf, how the rest of the world really sees Superman. And I thought that was very well done. And the blacks, now, again, I think people are going to have issue if you're a mega Superman fan, because once again, just like the theatrical cut, he really doesn't get into the movie that much. As I said in my last spoiler review, he maybe comes into the movie 85% into the movie. He has some great ending fight with Steppenwolf that is really great. His scene in the grass with back at the farm with Lois and Martha really was great. A lot of the Man of Steel songs, his theme for Man of Steel came in a lot, and I got chills when that was happening. And his scene in the Superman ship, where you get to hear Russell Crowe's Jor-El and Kevin Costner's human dad characters talking to him, that I had goosebumps. You had the Man of Steel theme, you had those two characters from Man of Steel come back and do voiceover, and then you got him in the dark suit. It was just really great all around. One of my favorite aspects of the entire film, and his fight at the end was really, really well done. And him and Bruce's relationship, you do feel it towards the end of the film. Now, we all want to talk about here is the epilogue, which I am not the biggest fan of. I think that the idea of that happening, of Batman having to team up with Deathstroke and Flash and Cyborg and Mira and Joker makes sense. But the Batman and Joker relationship wasn't great. And that's because Jared Leto just isn't Joker to me. Now, I don't hate this character like passionately. This is not my Joker. My only Joker is Heath Ledger. I'm not like that. And I don't blame him at all for Suicide Squad. He really didn't get a chance to do anything in this film or in that previous film. But his stuff for me just does not work, and at times can pull you out of a scene. And there's a lot of explaining on what has happened in this future, and they try to tie it into like a 5-10 minute dialogue. And my main issue with the epilogue was I just felt like a 5 or 6 post-credit scenes. It didn't actually feel like the ending of the movie. It just felt like all these were just post-credit scenes that it just I don't like that many post-credit scenes in the movie anyway. So to have like 5 or 6 was not necessary at all. Another one I'll talk about is Martian Manhunter, who I was so pumped to see on the screen before. I did not like that he was Martha in that really touching scene between Martha and Lois's apartment. I thought it was a really beautiful scene, but then it became completely distracting because we find out that Martian Manhunter was actually Martha, and that whole scene wasn't Martha talking to Lois. It didn't work, but him talking to Bruce at the end does make sense and sets up some fun things. We do get the same Lex Luthor Deathstroke scene from Justice League, from the theatrical cut, but totally different dialogue and totally different plan. In the Justice League theatrical cut, they were just talking about making an Injustice team to go after the Justice League. So it kind of felt like a Justice League 2 setup. Now in this film, it feels like a Ben Affleck solo Batman film setup because Lex does tell Deathstroke that Batman is Bruce Wayne. So that sets up really well Batman's solo film, which we will probably never get with Ben Affleck. We probably won't see Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, maybe even Ray Fisher, and maybe Zack Snyder ever do another DCU film again, which is sad, but that's kind of what the film is. It's giving you all these endings to say, this is my plan. Let's see if it happens. And WB did say they're not doing the Snyderverse. So continuing on from here, we shall see. Never say never after this film coming out. But yeah, the Joker Batman dialogue didn't make sense. I really don't like Mira, and Mira was way bad in this, worse in this movie than Aquaman, and pulled me out of a lot of scenes. So her being at the end also wasn't that great. But the visualization of Lois maybe being pregnant with Bruce's kid, maybe Lois is killed in the later things by Joker, Darkseid taking over everything. The nightmare sequence stuff, the concept is good. I just didn't feel like it was executed that well. So overall, guys, those are my spoiler review of Justice League. I've already done my non-spoiler review and my DCU updated ranking. Both of those are non-spoiler. This is my spoiler talk of Justice League. So thank you for joining me. Busy week coming up tomorrow. Spoiler review for the episode 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That'll be coming out tomorrow. And then the Eric Andre prank movie on Netflix. I'll also be reviewing that tomorrow. And then coming weeks, we have Godzilla versus Kong coming out to end the month. And then in the end of March, I do my ranking of all the March movies that I have seen ranked. So this should be a fun couple of weeks here on the channel. So please subscribe, ring that bell for notifications so you're notified when these videos drop. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one.